This conference will now be recorded.
There, so now she wants to move it for Monday somewhere. Anyway, it's 2 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. Item 3, confirmation of agenda. Be resolved that the committee confirm the agenda as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you. You can declare a pecuniary interest now or through any time of this meeting. And with number 5, delegations and presentations, there doesn't seem to be any. So we will move on to the adoption of minutes. And it says, be it resolved that the committee approve the minutes from the February 18th, 2021 Recreation Advisory Committee meeting as presented, and that the committee approve the minutes from the May 20th, 2021 meeting as presented. Can I have a mover and seconder, please?
So, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I think we'll have to split this resolution up because you were not present on February 18th and Brian Milne was not present on May 20th.
So that'll just be 2 resolves then, basically.
Yeah. So
okay.
Wayne and Brian would have to approve the February 18th minutes, and then yourself and Wayne would have to approve the May 20th minutes.
Okay.
If everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, no, if that's the way it goes. Brian should have known that. He's got a new copy of the Roberts Rules of... Sorry, Brian. Okay, number 6, adoption of minutes. Be resolved that the committee approve the minutes from the February 18th, 2021 Recreation Advisory Committee meetings presented. I have a mover and a seconder, please. That would be me. No, that would be, yeah. Carried. And that the committee be resolved that the committee approve the minutes from the May 20th, 2021 meeting as presented. Mover and seconder.
Yep, so that one would be you.
Yep.
And Wayne. Yep.
Thank you very much, Alicia.
Perfect. You're welcome.
No problem. Number 7, we'll go right into it. Recreation updates and facility manager report, 7-1. So that's just the monthly plan. We always put it in the meeting just to let you know what's going on. 30-day plan. We still got the project of the Holstein ball lights. Hopefully we can get it done this year. If not, it'll be done in the spring. But the big issue right now is getting any wire and the cost of wire to get it done. Holstein washroom roof. We just haven't got around to that yet. We did re-roof the Hopeville washrooms. We have the steel. We just haven't had the time with holidays and other projects. The pool's closed. We're now working on getting the arena open for October 8th. We had TSSA in. They found a whole bunch of things that they haven't found for the last 10 years that they should have found within the last 10 years, but we have some compliance issues we have to deal with. The challenges concern the little tractor, the hydrostatic drive coupler went out of it. That was a $4,000 fix. The truck, the hand-me-down truck we got, we're putting over $4,000 in it annually in repairs because we keep getting the hand-me-down crap. The arena columns, we're waiting on Oz to come up with a plan from Triton. He said he was going to come up and visit last week to nail a plan down, but he hasn't been up. The old town hall, Dave's got a meeting set up, I think on the 28th with the purchaser plus the group that's trying to save the building, but Dave might want to talk about that a bit later. Facility accessibility going forward, that's in there because the year 2025 we have to make sure we've got all our facilities fully accessible. The remaining issue buildings would be the pool, but we applied for that grant. The pavilion, we applied for that grant. Swinton Park has some accessibility issues, and that's about it in recreation. We had another one dropped on us, was the arena booth suppression system. is obsolete in 2 years, and to fix it, it'll be over 4,000 to bring it up to standard. But most facilities now are going to the air fryer units. You don't need ventilation, you don't need fire suppression systems, so that might be something to look at if we ever rent the booth out again. I haven't really heard from Trifina yet on her plan for this summer or winter, but I doubt, knowing that she's short-staffed in the restaurant and what rentals will be in here, if she'll even be interested again. But we'll see once Irene opens with that. That's pretty much updates most of the where we are with recreation.
Okay. Any questions from members?
I got one.
Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kevin, that $4,000 a year going into the old wreck of a truck. I know it's not the same truck every year, but I guess you've had the current one for how many years now? A couple anyway?
I think might be 2, maybe 3 in there.
Maybe 2 or 3. Yeah.
We redid the brakes the first
year.
Yeah. And,
it concerns me that we're putting $4,000 a year into an old wreck. I mean, I know pickup trucks are at a premium now, but I wonder if we shouldn't be trying to do something different, either buying a good used one from a dealer at, you know, a couple, 3 years old, or even a new one, and making payments. It seems to me it'd be less money than that. I don't know who the guy that I should be asking that question, I guess, is on the phone right now, but
well,
any thoughts on that, Kevin?
well, I think we need to get an overall strategy on pickup trucks, and I think Jim might be working on that, but
okay.
I don't know. I hope he is, because I mentioned it to him. I said, because we just seem to not have a plan on cycling them out, that they're beneficial to, like, we were to get Phil's, and then, but it went to Corey, and then we got Corey's old one, and it just seems that we don't have any plan on pickup trucks. And like, so I think as a whole, we need to, like the roads department and like, we need to look at all the trucks we need and all the trucks longevity and all the trucks. Now, you know, asset management may be heading towards that too, but it's just, yeah, we're all kind of relying on Phil's hand-me-down truck to keep him in one, but it seems more and more people are after Phil's hand-me-down truck, that now we're getting hand-me-down trucks from hand-me-downs. So
right.
But just, you know, it's just we've had bad luck with this one, you know, brakes.
Well,
and then last time it was the last $4,000 bill to haul the trailer. We have to yellow ticket it, our truck. I don't know if they're yellow ticketing any of the rest of the trucks. So every year we have to take it into Paul to get it stickered. And so he gives it a complete going over to sticker it. And
sure,
yeah, we're getting nailed on that truck pretty hard every year. But
right. Well, it strikes me that maybe a new one that you could keep for 8 years, 10 years. You guys don't put a lot of miles on it, I'm sure, but that said, you do need a decent truck to pull the trailer. I mean, there's no point in you stopped on the side of the road somewhere. Anyway, that's
an overall strategy needs to be developed. Yeah, that's something we do at the department head level.
If Jim's working on something, that's good. Thank you.
Martin here, Kevin. You were talking about the yellow sticker. Why does your trucks have to have one and then the others don't? What's the difference in the sticker?
We're hauling a tandem trailer.
Oh, okay.
Wheels to a trailer, you got to have your truck stickered, yellow stickered. Certified.
Okay. I usually don't haul anything, so that doesn't really relate to me. And one more question, unless Wayne has something, I'll let him go first. You're okay? The TSSA inspections, were they small issues for compliance, or what exactly were they?
Couple of them were, one is the vestibule that we had to build going into the room. He's decided he wants to change that again. So that's, that's a bigger issue. Still, it's a matter of a fire rated door and sealing it up, and it was never drywalled, never fire rated and everything. So, and the second one was when he made us put the independent heating unit in the room. His description to me at the time sort of neglected to add makeup air. And that, so he commences, there's no makeup air. And I said, well, you told me to do this. So anyways, we looked at it, and I said, now where do I put the makeup air in to make sure we're clear? And he says, well, it's got to be 24 feet from the stack. And I said, what about the boiler? Oh, he says, yeah, I don't know where you're going to put it. And I said, that's exactly what I knew you were going to say. So I'm waiting on the heating guy. He's busy. Everybody's busy. You can't get anybody to come in and do any work. So waiting on that just to figure out exactly where we can put it, how we can do it. So it's major enough projects, but nothing, nothing more than $1,000, I hope, on each one.
And there's no real timeline to get these things done then, is there?
Yeah, November. He gave me till November. He was good that way. Usually they give you negative 2 days. They give you a sheet, and then 2 days after they said, well, you haven't sent in your compliance yet. I said, well, how do I fix it in 2 days? Well, at least this time he gave us till November. So
okay. And it's always the same chap doing it then?
yeah, the last 3 have been the same fella. So, and then before that was a guy, and then before that there was a gentleman that did it for like about 10 years. So that's the thing. Every time you kind of get somebody new, they find something different that the other guy passed and the new guy won't accept. So
yeah, well, that's what I was alluding to. It'd be good to have them pretty consistent. Okay, any other questions from anyone? If not, we'll go to 7.2, COVID-19 arena, excuse me, and facility precautions and rules for use and access.
So I did update our SOP. I sent it to Kayla today for some formatting issues. Alicia actually has it, so I don't know if she wants to share the screen. It's not on the agenda, but basically the points is aligning our SOP up with what's coming down the pipe with the dual vaccinations requirement. So OMHA has been asking us, they have their own rules, which is for discussion on 7.3, but yeah, that's the document I sent to Alicia there. So basically changes to it from last year is now we've defined what a user and defined user groups, but the admittance in our new SOP follows the fully vaccinated. You must provide proof of fully vaccinate of the 2 vaccinations, and then it defines what fully vaccination means the 14 days after. Where the arenas are stumbling and everyone's in the same boat because we're getting phone calls left and right. Shelburne phoned me what I'm doing. We're all asking everybody around what they're doing, but when the government put the line in there, persons who are under the age of 18 entering a premise of a facility used for sport and recreation, solely for the purpose or whatever, don't require the double vaccination. Well, but yet the next thing they're saying it's under 12. So OMHA has interpreted that they're going with 12 and older. And that's pretty much what I've been telling everyone to be prepared for. And the other thing everyone's trying to slip in under this clause is that spectators are participating in the sport. Well, OMHA left that up to the municipality to define whether their spectators are participating in sport, but everyone else is all putting in there that no, spectators are not participating in the sport. They'll need to be double vaccinated. So we put that in there, what a user is, and a spectator, whatever. So we have it in there. Kayla's just doing or getting somebody to do some formatting on it. The reporting and record keeping, we got to kind of watch that, but minor hockey will be responsible for their own record keeping and their own proof of double vaccination. So what I've told them is if you got a team, create your team list, you check that they're double vaccinated, and you send me that team list, and we use that list as your pre-screen as you come in. But I don't need to see their records. And from what I got from the province, that I don't need to see organizations' records, long as the organizing user, somebody's doing it. So when it comes to private groups, what I've told them is you just supply me a list in advance. I'll generate your screening list. And we got two options. You show us your double vaccination the first night, or if you want to speed up the process, email me copies. And in the policy here that we will not keep any documents upon verification. We will either destroy them if it's written, or a hard copy, or if it's an email copy, I'll delete it. But somehow they have to provide that proof of vaccination to participate in pickup hockey or any other event. So.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, Brian?
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. So I guess I understand the OMHA thing, or the minor hockey thing, or user groups, I suppose. But who actually checks? So we're going to have somebody at the door to check spectators as they come in as well. Is that the deal? As I understand it?
They would fall under the organization. From what I read from the OMHA, they'll be responsible for their entire group. So
it's up to minor hockey to put somebody at the door to check people coming in.
Yes.
Does that?
It'll be their organization in violation of the policy, not us, if they don't do it.
Right. Does that make us a little bit uncomfortable because we're the owner operator of the facility, or not? Like, we're relying on minor hockey to do the job right. If something goes south, is somebody at the province going to point at the township and say, well, you were running the arena, why didn't you check these people coming through the door? I'm just asking the question.
Do you want to answer that, Kevin, or Dave?
I'm just hoping policy is strong enough to support those requests.
Well, I do too.
That it's expensive for us. It's expensive for minor hockey.
I mean, it's a nightmare. I get it. But as sure as day follows night, somebody's going to try to challenge the damn thing, and I don't want any of our staff, or indeed, anybody really from minor hockey or our staff, having to confront some member of the public showing up and making a bit of a conflab. Maybe Dave's got an answer. I don't know, but
yeah, Dave, you had your hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've got an answer, but we have discussed these things, and we still feel strongly that putting it in front of the user groups like minor hockey to do that. But I think we would qualify it that we would be obviously wanting reporting and doing auditing of those, spot checks, auditing, whatever, to ensure they're following those protocols. If we take it on, they will be paying an extra service fee per hour for us to provide that checking service at the door, would be my and look at it. But
Right.
those are discussions that, Kevin are going to have with them and develop this thing. But no, we have not that, we've thought about this, and it is a concern for sure that they follow through and be serious about it.
Okay. No, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the parents of the kids playing, knowing full well that they're just spectators, they want to see their kids play, so they got to make sure they're double vaccinated. So I would think 99% of them would not question it, and it's good that the organization's looking after it. I think that's great in that regards. So. And there's still social distancing with these people too, right? Like they can't sit together. They have to stay in their own family groups, I would assume. That's protocol. So, is there any other questions? Hearing none. 7.3 OMHA COVID-19 rulings, was that covered there, Kevin, in your other statements, or?
That's it, pretty much, like I said.
Yeah.
So they have a couple funny dates. So their date of compliance is October 31st, as the province's date of compliance is September 22nd. So I assume OMHA has special approval or something because it is one of the largest organizations in the province. So they had a few questions on timeline, and I just said, look, you guys have your own COVID policy. We'll honor your policy because obviously somebody's got it approved at your end, and ultimately they're going to come to you on your rental, but they may come to us. But we're just going to lay it out there in the contract that, like I said, we're not going to create anything over and above to make it harder for them to use the facility, because, we want them using the facility. We want them, using or being eligible to play as much as they can for the kids and everything. So that's all they really wanted to hear, was that we weren't going to do, something crazy where we're saying, no, you can't do anything in here. And I said, we're going to follow what you guys present us. If OMHA policy is approved by the government and or province, then we'll work with you within that. So that's kind of the only thing that's not in line with what we're doing, is what the timelines just don't line up.
Okay. Well, any questions or comments about that? If none, I would assume, since they've moved it up to the end of October, they probably just excuse me. I would assume that's got something to do with their registration period, so they know they have the kids to fill in the policy, I guess, and fill in the. Anyway, we can move on to 7.4 Southgate COVID-19 vaccination policy, and I see Kayla and Dave still there, so. Anything said there? We all know about it last night, but Wayne might want to hear something.
And the silence is golden. Maybe I'll let Kayla introduce it this time. She did a better job than I did last night anyway, so.
Staff policy?
Yes. If you could just maybe provide Wayne a highlight of the policy, and he can ask questions. I'm sure Brian and Councillor Shipston, the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Shipston, are well informed from last night.
A policy to council last night regarding the COVID-19 vaccination for all of our staff, including our volunteers, students, casual, full-time, part-time, council, and committee members. And what it is human resources will be requesting proof of vaccination. And if somebody doesn't provide proof of vaccination, then we will be we'll be asking them to request an accommodation, which we will work on, plus rapid antigen testing will have to take place regularly and an education course. So we're doing this in order to protect our workplace, and something like the arena, I mean, we're telling everybody that comes in that they need to be double vaccinated. So it's fair that us ourselves that are in there are also double vaccinated. So that is the gist of it. There is an amendment going through. That was the draft policy. The final policy will have some changes to the accommodation sections just to make that accommodation request a little bit more clear. That's the very high level, but you can let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I think you're on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you for that update, and I have no questions at this time.
Have we sent out a copy of that policy to Wayne? I think it'd be good for you to have it, Wayne, as something to look at. It's very much a policy that's all encompassing to protect staff health and safety, continuity of services, to prevent community spread, and there are going to have to be some crossroads, but we think there's enough accommodation and so on in the policy. But if you have questions, contact Kayla or myself, because it is a policy that would be on members of this committee and council members, but there's virtual ways to still attend if someone on a committee is not vaccinated. But there's also accommodation for health reasons, religious reasons, and accommodation if we can make staff recommendations or staff proposals work.
Okay.
All righty. Okay. Well, moving right along. Number 8, new and unfinished business. 8.1, community building fund capital stream project. So an update on that.
This is the one that we were originally applying for the pool, and then we changed direction with the pool one, went with the federal capitals community build capital stream. So this one kind of come out on a real short, we're released September 1st and it closes September 29th. So it's kind of hard to get a fit in there, but there is a couple ideas because the wording is, I've never seen wording like this. Basically, it's for extending the life and maximizing the use of existing facilities, playgrounds, so sports fields, anything to increase your usage. So a lot of it falls under lighting and a few other things. So one of the thoughts was the column repair in the arena, but I don't think Oz isn't moving fast enough to get any legwork done to get that into the grant here if we have intent to apply for this one. Now the funding is 80% of the project, so it works out pretty good that we only have to pay 20% of any project we take on, and it funds up to $500,000. But one of the ideas I was throwing around was we do have an issue with that ballpark in Memorial Park downtown, and I've never liked the lights there. And just in the recent weeks, this is exactly what the problem is. One, we can't rent it out when we got campers in there. We can't rent it out when the park's full. When we have family reunions, we don't allow them to rent the parks on Saturdays and Sundays. So that ballpark with the lights and being, looked at as our premier ballpark, we seem to be very limited when we can rent it out. And then another issue come forward, the girls team in town invited a bronze medalist from the Olympics to come up to show her medal. So the girls team was playing a women's team, and there was a really big crowd, and I guess the athletic people took offense to the drug dealing crowd that we have in that park, and apparently it turned into quite a Donnybrook in the park. So again, really makes our community look wonderful in the eyes of a guest invited in to show her gold medal or bronze medal off. But so since that, minor baseball's been on me about changing that. I talked to Jeremy Henderson, and he says they're more than excited when I told them what I was thinking. My thought process is apply for a grant to take the lights down in Memorial Park, move them to the arena, put them here at the arena, and we change that park up into town just to be a passive park, take the athletic or the team sports out of it, because that's where you seem to have conflict, team sports with public. Try and move all our team sports out here to the arena and build something here. I talked to the fair board because the fair was on, and they were on board for moving the lights. They think that would benefit them and the fair because they could turn the lights on for their truck pulls and do more events later for the fair. I asked them about expanding the soccer fields at the far end because there's a funny ditch cut across the far end. Discussed maybe filling the ditch in, turning the soccer fields and putting 2 down at that end, because I have been getting phone calls about once a week for cricket to be played in our community. So the thought process is turn the soccer fields to the bottom end side by side, put a cricket pitch in the middle so we could provide cricket. One nice thing about cricket is it takes like 14 hours to play a game, so you can charge them by the hour.
Yeah.
So
Or a minimum of 6 or 8.
but we're going to get that. And the fair board, the fair now, they were going to have a meeting over it, and I said, well, you might as well wait till the rec board has it. But it was Mark Nichols and Jessica were in here discussing it. They were both said, no, we got no problems with the soccer field. If we can make it work down there, that benefits us too. So the only one we couldn't work out was I asked them possibly about moving the horse ring and putting a second ball diamond on there. But they have plans for closing in the horse ring and putting a roof on it. So that kind of didn't work for us. It didn't work for them. So I said, that's no problem. We'll have to look somewhere else for a ball diamond. But maybe Alicia, you could put that map up I sent you if you want. Alicia, share the screen. But the piece of property to the north of the existing ballpark is owned by Plateau. So if we could maybe, we've never pushed Plateau for parkland, we could potentially maybe push him for that corner that backs onto the diamond and backs onto the fairground for play for what is required by the development to supply us. But that may solve our problem for the second ball diamond. So I kind of threw this around all the user groups, and all the user groups kind of liked the idea. And the fair board certainly said they're on board for the lights and the soccer field. So it could solve some of our downtown problems. And like I said, this grant should cover it. The wording is exactly what we're applying for, and it's 80% funding. So the only problem we might have going forward is sometimes they need council resolution, but this is a trillium, so I'm not too sure if we'll need that, because we will not get that in time for the 29th. But perhaps a rec board committee resolution might get the application proceeding. So that's one project. The other project is if baseball can't be played downtown and we can't get ball to work here, perhaps we concentrate on developing Hopeville ballparks into a ball facility, ball complex and say, hey, we're out of the ball business in Flusher, or out of the ball business in Dundalk, and we move all our ball to Hopeville. But there's going to be a lot of backlash, or not necessarily backlash, because you'd make a beautiful facility out of it, but for some reason I can't get the Dundalk users to use Hopeville, even though if I was a ball player, I'd rather go there. You're out of the public, play your ball, set your gazebos up and your picnic, and you're there, you stay there. But they just seem to have a snub for Hopeville. But those are the two projects that I've been throwing around, and we kind of need approval or direction from this committee to proceed. And maybe we don't have time to proceed with the deadline on the 29th as it is, but that's my pitch.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to have, Dave, you had your hand up?
Yeah, Kevin, did you look at putting the second diamond into, like, I think the appropriate place would be the lights at adjacent to the arena and all that. Did you look at putting that diamond in maybe the future Norm Jack Park?
So there is room there. What we're limited there is parking. So what'll end up happening if we put it there, I just don't know where we're going to get enough parking, but we can look at that. What'll end up happening, it'll end up kind of backing on the county parkette that's on the highway. So I got a funny feeling most people end up going, hey, this is a better place to park. And I don't know if the county will be happy with us parking there, but if we can come up with a parking plan, yes, there is room there.
Okay.
It would take MTO 5 years to figure out that we were using their parking lot anyway.
I was going to say it's MTO, I think, not county, but nonetheless.
Yes. Yeah.
If I could, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I
Go
like
ahead.
this idea. I like this idea that's on the screen.
Yeah.
If you can put those two ball diamonds back to back, then you can, the lighting, you can share a little bit of the lighting for both diamonds. Certainly the ball standards, the poles can be shared. I like that idea a lot, Kevin. The only other thing is to, bring the dome out to Drumore and put it out in our Fields of Dreams out here. But I share I feel your pain for Hopeville, because we found the same thing years ago at the Holstein Diamond. The Mount Forest people just will not come out there. And to get them to come out to Drumore to play soccer, my God, you'd think they're driving to Tuktoyaktuk. But nonetheless, that's fine. But I like this idea at the arena there. I like it a lot, actually. I've never been too keen on that diamond in town either, right downtown, because it's congested, it's conflicting with other uses, and I think this makes a lot of sense. And if there's a way to make this work for the 29th, I'm happy to make a motion if you think a motion from this committee will help. Or if we need to get a special meeting of council, by all means, let's do it, and let's get what we need to get this application in.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah, so do I, Kevin. I think it's great. The lights would primarily go with the baseball people. I know, like the soccer does not get played where you need the lights. It's not like city or rep. So the soccer fields really don't come into play. And if there is a big influx of the cricket people, there's more than enough room to set their wickets up, and they have different lines where they could paint their lines a different, like a yellow line instead of the white, so the markings could all be fitted in. So yeah, I like this a lot. So did you want us to make a motion today to give you some kind of authority or direction, as Brian said, or?
I think, yeah, I need some sort of consensus to apply. I just can't apply for the sake of applying. So
No, I think it's a great idea, especially with the cricket, because the people coming in, when I went to one game down the city years ago, I was amazed how many cricket fields were surrounded by the soccer fields. So it is a big sport, and it certainly keeps some of them happy that are moving in. They need that. So you said you want, oh, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think couple things. I think it would be good to put a resolution together, and you know, it may not end up looking like this, but at least we head in a direction of getting funding. And maybe another thing I would think is I would question, just looking at the drawing, I think it's a great idea, but is it cohesive with building houses adjacent to something like that, and baseballs and backyards and all that kind of stuff? You know, maybe we can fix it with fencing, but before we jump too far, I think we should have a discussion with Shakir about, you know, would that be parkland they could set aside in that corner, and maybe explore more, you know, that whole issue of Norm Jack Park. I think we need to expand our services and look at downtown. I think this is a great idea. Kevin and I've had a bit of discussion, but I've learned more today. But if this committee could help Kevin out by providing a resolution, I think that'd be good. If we really need one badly, we could have a special meeting or add it to a special meeting with a planning meeting next week or something. But yeah, drive on. That's my advice. But Kevin and I will talk to Shakir too about that kind of thing being incorporated into residential development.
Like at this point, yeah, that second diamond isn't part of this grant. Like we wouldn't, that's
Okay.
something we'd have to take on, because yeah, we don't own that land for starters. And I assume most grants, that was the problem with the original lights. The plan was when we got that grant to do Memorial Park, we were going to get the lights and put them here at the arena, and without anybody knowing, but they said, no, you can't split locations. So I assume like the second diamond, that's, you know, that's 5 years away, if not even more. You know, if Shakir jumps on board, maybe, you know, he gives us permission to clear it and we get that ballpark built sooner. But yes, the other spot definitely is Norm Jack. If we can ever increase parking, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with it there too. It's just a matter of 2-minute drive if you're running a tournament or whatever. And the nice thing about Norm Jack's park will be there's washrooms there. So part of this deal I was trying to work out with the Ag Society was outdoor washrooms. Well, if they close in the horse barn that they're planning on doing, they want to add a meeting room and washrooms. And I said, well, if you're doing that, let us know. We'll certainly want to work somehow that we can make those washrooms accessible to recreation too. And both Jess and Mark said, yeah, we can, you know, we'll design it or work together on that down the line. But it's just what we could agree on it with the Ag Society, because again, it's their property too, that might be a hurdle too on changing these lights, is ownership of that property, because we only lease that. So, you know, they may come back and say, no, you can't do it based on that, but you know, it's at least try.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you, Dave. You know more about the subdivisions and what have you. And with a subdivision that size that Flato owns on that north end, they have to have a certain percentage for green area, green space anyway, don't they? With a lot that size, would it be used for that, or is it allowed to be used for something like that?
That depending on how big the development is, see, they have to set so much land or so much money value aside, and
Right.
you know, they see that you know, that housing development maybe couldn't yield that, they might select to provide a parkland in lieu and provide us land someplace else. Plus, you know, we want to be careful. The more land we set aside, is more land we have to maintain as well. So, I mean, if we could put together that in Norm Jack Park and maybe make it a combo baseball diamond and cricket field, that might be better utilization. But I mean, Kevin will go through that whole process, and we would need to get advice in setting up a cricket field for sure, I would imagine, because that's not my wheelhouse. Or maybe it is Kevin's. Maybe he's a cricket player after dark. I don't know.
Cricket's 2 soccer fields side by side, so then that's
Okay.
the only location, the only piece of property we have that would be close would be the fair corner
There you
down
go.
there. And it's already almost done. So even if
Yep.
the grant didn't come in, it's just changing that drainage ditch, leveling it in, and turning the 2 fields. So it's not like the big expense of this grant will be changing those lights to the diamond and trying to add a few bells and whistles to the ballpark because some groups say the fence is too big. We may have to redo the outfield fence out here, and everyone has their input already on the project and what they want incorporated in it. If we do put the lights there, that playground will have to be moved for sure, either onto the fairground land or up behind the arena or somewhere, because currently right now it is right in the landing path of foul balls. So there is some little wee things in there that'll cost, but the soccer field, good tractor, a good bulldozer, and somebody donating time, we could have that part done. But sure, it would be nice to have some money to pay for that too. So if it come available, if we could get it.
Okay. Well, Brian, you said you were willing to make a motion to move this.
Absolutely, but yeah, I'll do that, but I'm looking for maybe some verbiage from a staff member how it should be crafted. There it is. I knew somebody would be working on it.
Are you happy with that, Brian?
I changed
I'm wondering if Kevin's happy with it. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
We're not really applying for the second diamond for ball diamonds.
Diamond?
Well, that won't be in the grant, the second diamond. Just an application for baseball diamond and soccer field upgrades.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. No, I'm good with that. I'll move that.
Do you need a specific location, do you think, or is
Yeah,
that
you
fine?
can put it in. Yeah, Pat Dale's Park / Fairgrounds. Because I think the attractive thing to the grant will certainly be fairground support or the Ag Society support.
Sure.
Because if they can say, because that's what Mark said too, right now, what is it, Ag, whatever their governing body is really pushing hard for anything to support the improvements for fairs and whatever. He said they'll likely easily get a letter from their governing body to support it too.
Sure.
Yeah. So Brian and Kevin, you're happy with that?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that if we need it for the grant, it is Trillium. Trillium's sometimes a little easier.
Yep, for sure. I remember dealing with them. Seconder? Thank you, Wayne. That is carried then. That's great. Okay, new and unfinished business. I get the Herald delivered here, Kevin, at home, and I couldn't help but notice a really big, quite a large ad for the South Gray Spartans. Have they been contacting you as far as what they are thinking about setting up these? Or
They call me about once a week, more so on protocols, because Gray Highlands they're still in step 2 for some reason. So everything they're throwing at them doesn't line up, and they're all panicking and worried that they're not going to be able to play or whatever. And I said, whatever OMHA comes through, if you're going to be playing hockey, we'll make it work. Don't think. So where we're sitting at basically is they're worried about the fans. And I said, all the wording in the road to reopening, it's percentage of capacity. So I said the percentage right now says 50%. I'd like to start you guys at around 25%. So that would be 50 spectators in the stands. I think that's reasonable to start, and we'll go from there. And they said, no, that's great. We're just worried we weren't ushering saying no spectators. And I said, well, phone them again. I think they changed their mind again already. But anyways, I said, you're looking at 50 spectators in the stands. They'll come in the fire exit door, a separate entrance, watch the game, go out the fire.
Did we lose Mr. Green?
I think we did.
And I don't know where Dave went to.
Yeah.
Or they just maybe he just put that piece of tape over his camera.
That's the way I got my machine flashing on tape, right? Okay.
Anyway, I guess we got the motion in place. That's what they wanted.
Yep, that's right. That's all I had. Should we carry on, Alicia, until give Kevin a chance to come back on, or?
I know Dave wanted to add an item about the Santa Claus parade, so
Okay.
Oh, there
if it's
Kevin's
okay. Oh,
back.
it looks like Kevin's coming back there.
Well, anyway, Kevin, yeah, I looked at that ad and it said hockey is back and stronger than ever. So I was just thinking, hey, that's something cool, because the couple of programs they want to get going, it's great for the first time kids who want to play. That's Bauer First Shift, and $229 for hockey is fairly cheap for a little tot anyway. So it was just good to see. I'm glad they're getting on there. Anyway,
Yeah.
Alicia.
You got everything from that conversation?
I think we got most of it.
Most
good.
Got the important stuff anyway.
Yeah. Dave, Alicia was mentioning you had something to talk about the Santa Claus parade, or?
I do. Just in passing, that there's already discussions about Santa Claus parade, and they're again looking at similar to last year, drive-through stationary floats sort of thing. They just, we had the discussion of mutually what we thought, and I think we both came to the agreement that that was likely the safest approach that we could pull off again in 2021 like we did in 2020. Unless there's any comments, I wanted to seek any feedback or critiques here so I could feed back to the committee.
No, I thought it went very well, although this year I'm going to have more clothes on. I'm going to be warmer. I'm going to do that again.
Bring a bigger Santa beard. Anyway.
Or bring a bigger container or something.
No, I wasn't there, Dave, but everything I heard from everybody, it was great. So if they can do that again, you need something like that. So that's great.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Number 9, correspondence. There is none. 10, anybody with members privilege for good news celebrations?
The only, if I could, Mr. Chair, the only thing I would suggest is when I was talking about Drumore earlier, I talked about the Field of Dreams. The field that is adjacent directly to the Drumore Park, as Kevin will know, is a cornfield this year. So if you're looking for a pretty cool picture, come on out to Drumore and stand at the home plate, and right behind you is the cornfield. So it makes for a great picture if you want to come on out.
And then
play ball too. That'd be great as well.
Yeah, and Photoshop somebody coming out in a baseball uniform from the actual corner.
Yep. Julius Joe has been spotted out here a couple times. Yep.
If we were in a better place, a better place with COVID, what a neat thing to have a couple young baseball teams play. And I mean, we could haul a bunch of bleachers out there and fill it right now for people wanting to do something. But yeah, that Field of Dreams thing that they did down in the States, that was hugely successful.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
No,
boy, oh boy.
The only other thing I have is a shout out to Kevin. The parks look great this year. He's doing a great job all of the flags are still in one piece. He's done a great job there, and I look forward to that continuing.
We spent more money on flags, that's why. Bought the expensive ones, but
You
we
get
did
what you
have-
pay for.
we did have an issue starting up Holstein. It was way more problems than we could get accomplished before the first rental. So yeah, they weren't too happy with us, but when we went in, we cleaned it all, but the black mold that was in there from lack of use in 2 years, the hot water tank element was gone on it, and it happened. They rented on Tuesday after the long weekend, so I couldn't get an element. We finally had to dig up the septic, so we had problems with the septic to get the fly swatter out of the line, and we got the fly swatter out of the line, but over 2 years of not use, the organics had grown up all over the inlet to the septic. So they had problems with the toilets backing up. It was just the rental from hell. I felt sorry for them. And they knew I felt sorry for them by the comments they were saying. But anyways, we reimbursed them for their rental on that. But we do have Aiken's funeral in there tomorrow, and the black mold's
Right.
gone now. Septic works and everything works, I hope. But it was, yes, a building sitting for 2 years is not a good thing.
No.
Just like a car.
Did you buy a new fly swatter?
Well, I got one here, but I hate using it because the headache that one gave me was.
I just
Oh,
can't
wow, who'd have
envision
thought?
how, I
They
can't
took it.
envision how we get there, but anyway, here we are.
They took it, they bent it like that and shoved it down the line. So it was sitting there plugging the 4-inch septic line. So
Anyway,
Some
Martin,
people-
I do have something just for,
Sure,
let's call
no
it
problem.
members privilege, and I always give a poke out or shout out to clinics. So there's a vaccination clinic on the 24th of September at the arena and the 28th because of the success of I believe it was September 8th clinic had 166 vaccinations and a lot of people, well, there's people waited and got frustrated and left, but they did run out of vaccine. So
Yeah.
that one was hugely successful, and we anticipate more people. There was a lot of ask for vaccination certification or paperwork. So we're going to deliver that to anyone that gets vaccinated at the next clinic as well. So, but
Do they,
anyway,
do they need volunteers,
24th.
sir?
Sorry.
Do they need volunteers?
Yes, we will. Kevin and Kayla are organizing that, doing that part.
Okay.
So we would appreciate any help. And the clinic on the 24th is 4 to 7. And I'm going to stand corrected. It's either 3 to 6:30 or 4 to 6:30 on the 28th.
Well, that's good news. A question that comes to mind with that, Dave, when you have these pop-up vaccination clinics, and you said they ran out, do they, when they have a next one, make sure they have at least that same amount? You know what I mean?
Well,
Or
they're gonna come with more staff and more vaccine because it's been trending, like it's been
up
coming
anyway?
down.
Yeah.
But I think with the push with the vaccination policies being required by the province, I think there's now a push that people realize they need to get it if they're going to have the freedoms they're used to of attending sporting events and so on.
Yeah. That's
Kayla's
good.
popped up and she's got better information
Kayla?
than I have. So here you go.
I just wanted to say on the 24th, it's 2 p.m. till 7 p.m.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Thank you.
And on the
And
8th
Thank
or
welcome
the 28th?
volunteers.
Yeah.
And on the 28th, what times?
The 28th is 4 till 6:30.
Okay. I'll check
Okay.
with my social convener and see whether I can work that in, and I'll let you know.
Okay. We'll move to item 11 if there's no more for the members' privilege. The next meeting, Alicia, that's sometime in November, is it not?
Yep, it's scheduled for Thursday, November 18th at 2 o'clock.
Okay, great, thank you. And the next item is adjournment. Be it resolved that the committee adjourn the meeting at 2:59. Do I have a mover and a seconder? And that is
Wayne wants
carried.
to move that.
Yeah. And that's
Councilor
carried.
5.
And that's carried. All righty. I guess that's it. Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
everyone. Everybody
Take
keep
care.
safe.